Good morning, afternoon. Can't really tell, no more light out there. My name's Steve Bassi. I am the founder and CEO of Polyswarm. And I started out in computer security at 11 or 12 years old. And my interesting story was I broke into the computers of a local company. This is mid-90s, so computers were very rare and very inexpensive. I broke in, they caught me, and they said, hey, don't do that again. Also, why don't you come work for us this summer? So it was a very long time ago. Very happy to see how it's sort of evolved, computer security specifically. My team, we've been working together since 2012, all highly technical, a lot of them masters and PhDs in computer science. I'm here to deliver a simple message today. How many of you here have used antivirus software in the past, I don't know, few weeks? All right, smattering. It's actually, the proportion is quite high. If you sent an email, if you've received an email inside of your enterprise, or if you work in a corporate environment, you've probably used antivirus unknowingly. The bad news is today that economy is broken. So computer and data are compromised by malware, but we continue to have this single model where you pay a vendor like McAfee, Kaspersky, Symantec, you pay them a subscription fee, right? And they may not protect you for that subscription fee, but the unfortunate part is if you're a Symantec customer and they miss a threat that affects you and Kaspersky happens to pick up on it, there's no way to combine those protections into a single umbrella. So we think that's wrong, and our thesis is instead that enterprises and end users should be paying into something we're calling Polyswarm. Polyswarm's singular purpose is to take that subscription incentive, chop it up, tokenize it, and reroute it to security expertise around the world that are forming a cohesive umbrella of threat protection in a much more convergent and better way than a single vendor ever could. Why do you care? Well, this market is an $8.5 billion a year market. And that's just antivirus. Cybersecurity spending is expected to reach $220 billion by 2021. And if you look at how files are scanned every time you send an email attachment, download a file, especially in the enterprise, it's likely that that file is scanned. And this is billions of files a day, so very, very high transaction volume. For these scans, you pay between 1/2 US cent and 1.5 cents. And that's cool because your antivirus is pretty good, right? Not quite. Well, unfortunately, against new threats, meaning stuff that has emerged in the past week to the past month, existing antivirus is about 53 to 74% effective, right? So put another way, in the best case, there's a 26% chance that that new threat received in your inbox actually compromises your computer. That's not acceptable. So why is this? Well, it's the single vendor model. Fragmented market equals fragmented coverage, and that's a problem. We come back and we try to fix this with the economics. In the past 3 years, with the rise of Ethereum, smart contracts, it's become possible to reroute sub-cent amounts, sub-cent payments, across borders without using the traditional financial structures that are very cumbersome for this sort of thing. Put another way, if I have a security expert in South America and I'm sitting in Switzerland, it's very, very hard to route that guy $100 US for his protection efforts for the customer base for a month without half of that being eaten in wire fees and intermediate banks. So we leverage smart contracts running on top of the blockchain to do this. And that's not just buzzwords, we actually do this. And we have 3 key players in our network. We have the enterprises and the home users, and they want protection. They have money. We have security experts, and these are people like me, small teams and organizations around the world, and their job is to build software to hook into Polyswarm that protects users against broad or narrow classes of threats. But Polyswarm's responsibility is to put that into one cohesive umbrella to protect all these users. Then we have ambassadors, and these are a bit of a special case, but these are better thought of as channel partners. Channel partners basically have existing relationships with enterprises and businesses out there, and they're very good at understanding the needs of their customers and understanding which security experts really, really work for their customers. So the plan. We are in public token sale right now. We have raised about 24 million US to date, and our plan is to build and raise this network up. It's a two-sided marketplace with open tooling, open data about what's malicious, what's not, and other open processes to onboard security experts and keep them protecting users. So we have a $50 million USD cap on our token supply. We're about halfway through that. We plan on, in the future, sustaining the company not just through token appreciation, but through actual value-added services on top of this network as built. So these are things like certifying that security experts on the platform meet certain standards for data protection, certifying that security experts are who they say they are, providing data to improve the products that security experts design and build. We have industry support. We're in early discussions with McAfee, Symantec, a couple other big antivirus vendors, and actually participating in the platform. This is an inclusive effort, and the goal is protecting users. Our advisory board isn't a bunch of crypto celebrities. If you don't know any of these people, don't worry. It's okay. A lot of them are very good academics and researchers in this area and understanding malicious software, and that's just fine with us. So thank you for your time. I'm happy to take any questions. And
Thank you, Steve. So we have time for the questions. Who has? Okay, perfect time.
One of the most important questions: what is the business model? How do you make earnings with that?
Sure. So the company specifically, or our security experts on the platform?
The company specifically.
Okay. Yeah. So the company specifically makes money in two ways. One, helping enterprises are used to are used to paying a single subscription fee, and basically doing that in fiat currency in their usual jurisdiction. Now, in our platform, security experts operate on a common token called Nectar. Right? So one of our revenue models is taking the traditional enterprise subscription fees and tokenizing it for them and doing a small transaction fee on top of that. The other specific revenue model for us is, as I said, certifying security expertise and making sure that when an enterprise wants to interact with somebody who's, say, GPDR compliant, they get that expertise and they're certified to handle data specifically. So again, we provide value adds on top of the network, and we actually don't try to get in the middle and take a fee of every transaction, because we use that fee to incentivize the network policing itself, essentially. And we know that if we rent seek, at least in English we call it rent seeking, like that people will go other places and not build on top of an open, transparent platform if we're extracting too much of a toll. Does that answer your question? Sure.
Next question, please.
Yeah, just one, thank you, quick question. Thank you for the presentation, very interesting. You said qualifying and authentication of your security experts. I think that's a key element, because you want to make sure you don't have a double agent who would abuse basically your access that you have to plant any malware or so around. So how would you in detail do that, and how's that done?
Sure. Let me take your question in sort of the reverse order here. So remember we talked about earlier, scans cost about 0.5 cent to 1.5 cents US, right? So if you're, say, a malicious expert and you will also want to plant sort of the problem and the solution, meaning the malware and the solution, right? You have to spend on the order of hundreds to thousands of dollars designing and distributing a new piece of malware, right? For that, you only get cents back on the dollar, way less than that, by sort of providing the solution to that. So economically and rationally, it doesn't make sense. Also, when you submit that piece of malware to the network, other experts can weigh in on it and check if it's malware or not without your permission as sort of that dual agent, right? So it really doesn't make economic sense, to answer your question. The second part of your question, I want to make sure I got that. Did I get everything?
It was related to that. It was really about the threat that people would abuse basically your access that you would build by integrating. Thank you. By integrating all of the Kaspersky's and the McAfee's and so on your platform, I understand, as value-added resellers maybe, and that you might be abused as a distribution network, so to say.
Sure. I'll answer that very generally, because I know I'm running out of time back here. But
yes,
we spent a long time.
Be fast.
What? Sorry.
Be fast.
Okay, so we spent a long time designing the game theory behind this. And there's also a couple other technical features where the experts and their software are introduced in sort of a private enclave for the scanning. But the experts actually don't get access to the data. They only get access to the payment and the determination, right? So the artifact and the actual secret sauce of the expert, their software, is not leaked, right? That's another way we deal with it. Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, thanks for the question.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for your wonderful presentation and for the timing. Thank you.